Hey guys, welcome back to the Kind of an Expert podcast, the only podcast where the guest picks the topic of every single episode. My name is Corey Tyndall, and as always, I'm your host. And this week, I sat down with New York City comedian Jesse Townsend to talk about the 2023 NFL Draft. Jesse is back, as he is every year, to talk everything draft, the winners, the losers, the people who are going to bust, and the people that we hate the most from the draft. So this is a fun one. Even if you're not into the NFL, if you're not into the NFL, you're probably not going to like this one. Take this week off. We'll do next week. If you're into the NFL, even a little bit, or trying to get into the NFL, this is your starting spot. We're talking about the teams that are going to be good next year, the teams that are going to be bad. So this is your intro into the 2023 NFL season. You can follow him at I'm Jesse Townsend on Instagram and TikTok. He's at Greenwich Village Comedy Club every single week, so go check him out there. Check out his shows. Follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media, and come to a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. If you really like this episode and you really like Jesse and you're coming to a show at hit me up on Instagram. We'll get him on the show that you're coming to. With that, let's get into the episode. The 2023 NFL Draft is complete. If this is your first time listening to the episode, welcome. I did, you remember A-Marie Castillo?
Yeah.
She has a show on a syndicated sports show called Name 3 Players. So I was on that on Friday, talking about round one of the NFL Draft. So hopefully I plugged this one. Hopefully a bunch of people are here listening to this episode and they get a taste of Mr. Jesse Townsend and his no, not everyone's a winner type mentality to the NFL Draft. I think that's a great place to fucking start.
I think I have the best mentality on this, because in the history of sports, we have prided ourselves on cheering for winners and booing losers.
Yeah. Especially in Philly, where you can also throw things.
Which I am a diehard Eagles fan, okay?
Oh, we know.
I know. I'm wearing my Jalen Hurts jersey.
We prompted him. So, all right. So, this is what you came in hot with, even before we hit record, and I 100% agree. I'm just saying this right off the bat. What is going on with every single publication saying every single team won?
Unanimously. ESPN.
It's unbelievable.
ESPN gave their report cards, and no one has lower than a C. Pat McAfee went on the air, and he goes, everybody won this draft. Fuck you. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
There's no such thing as everybody winning in sports, okay? When the regular season starts, there's no way that every team can be above 500. That's not how sports work, all right?
No.
Not everyone can win the draft. Some people had better drafts than others, and if you have a better draft, that means you won. If you have a worse draft, it means you lost.
Yeah. So the Athletic was giving out grades per pick, and they did do some Fs. They gave out some Fs there. For instance, they gave the Jahmyr Gibbs pick an F, which we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But their overall grade for the teams, there was nothing lower than a C-. It's like, no,
I hate that.
The 49ers picked a kicker in the third round. Give them a goddamn F. I know one of their players.
The Patriots drafted a kicker and a punter.
I know. The punter's from Michigan State. That dude's a G.
Their
I
kicker's
love that
from
guy.
Maryland.
Great.
So, yeah, just
I
dogs.
mean, I'm happy for them, but
happy for them.
Oh
for the brand, hell yeah, special teams, let's do it.
Here's the perfect representation. PFF gave the lowest grade to the San Francisco 49ers as C-. They didn't have a first-round pick. They didn't have a second-round pick. And one of their third-round picks was a kicker. You tell me how that's not an F for a draft. How the fuck can you say that's not an F for a draft?
I can actually tell you how that's not an F of a draft, all right? I
really like that cornerback they got.
I will be one of the few guys that will stand up for the Niners.
No.
Because look at that quarterback room. Jimmy Garoppolo's gone.
Yeah.
You're moving forward with Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. But guess what? Now people got tape on Brock Purdy. We've seen what he does, all right? We know. This might be with that Kaepernick run right there, you know?
Yep.
Like, He had a phenomenal playoff run for the same team. Come back the next year, a lot of tape. They did their studying. They did their homework. They knew where he was going. All right? So maybe Brock Purdy's not that guy. You move down to Trey Lance. We haven't seen enough of Trey Lance to be like, oh, he's him.
Right.
And then they brought in Sam Darnold, which we know he's definitely not him.
No. We've seen that movie a few times.
So you might get past the 50-yard line, but you might not be able to get into the end zone. That's why you draft a kicker. Way to go, San Francisco, all right? You knew what you had in your quarterback room. You were like, hey, we're defense. We need some special teams because that quarterback room, like, they're too into it to move on from Trey Lance already. They're too into it to move on from Brock Purdy already, okay? Those two guys, like, they can't move on from yet. So they got to go kicker.
I mean,
I will justify it. I'll say San Francisco's a C-. I will say that.
Oh my god!
But here's the thing.
What?
Before we get into our losers, let's talk about the winners.
Okay.
Because here's my thing.
You're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, and everyone's saying,
That's your thing.
The Eagles won. The Eagles won.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Eagles. Howie Roseman did it again. Okay. Why is everyone talking about the Eagles? When the Houston Texans got 2 of the top 3 players in this draft, they had 2 of the top 3 draft picks. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is insane. Also, when you look at what the Panthers gave up to go to number 1, and then what Houston gave up
to go to number 3.
To number 3, they got a deal.
A huge deal.
They stole Will Anderson.
Yeah.
They stole that man. They got what they think is going to be their franchise quarterback, and they got an absolute dog on defense.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying that Will Anderson comes in, has that Alabama in him. He's going to be a team captain, maybe not his first year, but his second year. He's going to be a locker room guy that everyone can rally behind. Great pick. He's going to be coached by DeMeco Ryans, defensive mastermind.
Yep.
He played on defense. He was a dog. He went out there. He coached defense for the Niners, which that was the only highlight of that team. They were dogs. Even with the injuries that team had, he still coached that defense and made them look phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right? So I will say I do think the Houston Texans are the biggest winners of this draft.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. There's something about going all in, all right? Because a couple teams went all in.
Yep.
The Panthers went all in, you know. Colts didn't move up, though, did they? They were sitting at 4.
But they took Anthony Richardson, and then they also, they walked away from the draft with like 11 picks. They went for those high ceiling dudes where it was like, man, if this draft works out for the Colts, they are going to be annoying for the next decade. We're going to be seeing a lot of them versus Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 years if they hit on everything. Yeah. And that's what I'm
So here's my thing. I think as far as going all in, it rarely works.
Yeah.
All right? I'll tell you a little story. I stopped playing poker. I haven't played poker in 3 years, all right? Because last time I went all in, I had a full house. I got beat by a slightly better full house, all right?
No.
The Kansas City Chiefs are the best full house in the history of football right now. They look unstoppable, right? Because everyone's like, oh, defense wins championships. Kansas City has a insanely mediocre defense.
Yeah.
Their offense is just so good that you were like, but surely they won't be that good when you take away Tyreek Hill. They were like, fuck you, we'll go grab another ring. We'll go grab another ring.
I thought the Chiefs were going to be the last in the West this last year.
Dude.
I thought the Broncos were going to be good. I thought the Raiders were going to be good.
Phenomenal.
They lost
again.
Tyreek, and I was like, God,
I told you,
Mahomes is so good.
We also do a fantasy football episode every year. And I told you they're still going to be just as good, and Travis Kelce's going to take over the workload.
You were right.
And I told you that in almost every league, as crazy and as stupid as it sounds, I'm going tight end in the first round with Travis Kelce.
You didn't say first round. I agreed with first round. You said first overall pick, Travis Kelce.
Which works out because the unanimous pick was Jonathan Taylor. And if you took Travis Kelce over Jonathan Taylor, you looked like a genius.
Yeah.
All right?
We're not going to litigate the whole. Yeah, we're not going to litigate the fantasy football one until next time. Then you'll be able to see me yell at Jesse for his Christian McCaffrey take.
Here is what I am saying. Here's what I'm going to say. It rarely works when you go all in. But if there was ever a time to go all in, Anderson is a very safe pick.
Yeah.
Like, his floor feels like Jadeveon Clowney. Like, he is going to be him.
Yep.
You know? Like, everyone has been saying, oh, like, on paper, like, the pros are, like, stuff you don't hear from other draft profiles. Like, the pros are some off-the-field stuff. The pros are saying, he's a leader in the locker room. You can't, like, teach that kind of... That is a natural, like, something that, like, most players don't have going into the league. Yeah. Usually they need to, like, get that as they become a vet. Usually you don't hear about a 20-year-old kid being just a natural leader. That's insane. So I think they got an absolute guy, you know?
I 100% agree with you. I want to throw in there that one of my other big winners for the draft was the team that took the exact opposite approach, which was the Cardinals. They are the opposite of all in. They were like, we're trading out of 3. We are moving back. We're taking a tackle. We're taking 12 draft picks. And even if half of those dudes don't really pan out, just the way that they drafted at the high value positions, it's hard to say. It's hard to believe that at least 4 or 5 of those guys aren't going to be day one high usage starters.
Yeah.
Or maybe not day one, but high usage starters over the next 2 years. And so it's funny because I agree with you. I 100% agree. I think the Texans won. I think they did a great job of winning this draft. If you think long term, though, the Cardinals
also,
did the opposite, and I think they also won this draft.
Here's the other thing. It wasn't that deep of a draft.
No, I
agree.
agree.
You look at any expert, Rich Eisen said like there was...
Cornerback was deep and tight end was deep. After that, there wasn't really, like, there were 2 running backs. There were 2 quarterbacks.
It really wasn't deep. So the people who made moves on day one are the winners. That's why the guys who had multiple picks on day one won the draft. That's why the Texans won. That's why the Eagles won. The Eagles won because they had a couple dogs just fall into their laps. All right? The Eagles had to move up 1 spot to get Jalen Carter. Dog. All right? Now, there's off-the-field issues, sure, whatever, but is there you could not paint.
Yeah, sure. He doesn't like going to practice, but like, whatever.
No. That's not it. That's not it. That's what the off-the-field issues is just like certain character stuff, but like you could not paint a better picture for like him to walk into. It's him and his old teammates.
Yep.
And he's playing alongside some great veterans on that same defensive line. That is the perfect defensive line room for him to walk into.
Yep.
He's got some guys he's already familiar with, and he's got some guys with great experience.
Yep.
He walked into a perfect situation. And then pick 30 rolls around.
Yeah.
Eagles back on the clock.
That's a great pick.
They get Nolan Smith, who some experts had us taking at 10 overall.
Yeah.
He fell all the way to us because what? Oh, a little injury happened.
Yeah.
You know? And they're like, oh, he might not be ready to play all 4 downs his first year, so maybe let him slide. Guess what? With our defensive line, he don't have to play all 4 downs. We got Brandon Graham. No. We got Fletcher Cox. We got Jordan Davis. We got Jalen Carter. All right, we got some dogs, okay?
Yeah.
That defensive line is stacked, all right? Howie Roseman saw that Patrick Mahomes did not get sacked once during the Super Bowl, and he goes, never again, all right? He goes, fuck that. Patrick Mahomes is going to die next year.
Okay.
And I love it. He's like, Patrick Mahomes not safe. Shit, his brother's not even safe. We're going to tackle him mid-TikTok dance.
His brother's not safe.
We're going to tackle him so hard that he can never assault another bartender.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. His brother's got something coming to him.
Oh, boy.
So, all right, I want to start this by saying I 100% agree. I think the Eagles had a great draft. I think Jalen Carter is in the perfect circumstance for himself because even if you exclude the D-line, you've got people on the O-line like Jason Kelsey's not going to put up with his shit. Like, he's going to kick his ass every single day until Jalen Carter is back.
Jason Kelsey was hanging out with him at the draft.
Exactly. You've got the leadership around him.
Yes.
That's going to... However, the one pushback that I have is around giving so much credit to Howie Roseman for the first round. Jalen Carter, it was smart to move up one pick. It was smart to move up that one pick. However, Jalen Carter dropping is not... good for him for picking him. It's not like he did anything crazy. Nolan Smith for dropping. He didn't. He just fell in his lap.
That's what I said. I literally said those picks fell in our lap.
Right, but you gave a lot of credit to Howie Roseman.
I'm not giving Howie Roseman all of the credit. Howie Roseman won last year's draft with that trade for A.J. Brown. And they saw the Eagles win another draft, and they were like, Howie did it again, you know? And, Howie made those picks. But those picks came straight to him, all right?
Yeah.
He would have been dumb to pass on him. The rest of the league, dumb to pass on him, all right? Are you kidding me? There were some picks there where I'm like, Nolan Smith's really falling this fucking far? You know?
Yeah.
There were a couple guys who slid a little bit that I was kind of surprised by.
Yeah.
Christian Gonzalez falling all the way down to 17.
Yeah.
A lot of people said he was the best defensive back in the draft. A lot of people had him going top 10. He slid down to good old Billy Belichick to the Patriots, who I think is one of the losers of this year's draft. Even though they had a great first-round pick, they went punter, they went kicker. They already had a great defense. They
did.
And if they think Mac Jones is the guy, which he's not, give him some weapons. That offense is god-awful.
Oh, my God, I know.
That offense is so bad, and I'm fully convinced that the Patriots are just like, oh, fuck it. We are not going to solve this offense this year. We're going to get Caleb Williams next year.
Yeah.
I think some teams went into this draft thinking about next year's draft.
That's the only...
I think the two teams that did that were the Patriots and the fucking Falcons.
Oh, okay.
I think the Falcons are building a superstar offense in Atlanta, and they are ready for Caleb Williams to take the hill.
Okay.
The last three drafts, they went offensive skill positions. They went Drake London in the first round. Then they went generational talent Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
Who was underwhelming this year, but look at who the fuck was throwing to him. All right? Yeah, a generational talent's going to be underwhelming when a guy like me is throwing to him. Yeah, no shit, all right?
Then this Desmond Ridder a little more credit than that.
Then this year, Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
I love Bijan Robinson.
He's great.
He's a fucking dog.
Yeah.
All right? Which leads me to my next point. The biggest winner of this year's draft is not a team, it's running backs. Running backs are back, baby, and I fucking love it.
Okay.
We had a running back go in the top 10. We had a team trade up in the first round for a running back. Was it a reach? Fuck yes, it was.
Trade up.
Didn't they move up to get
the Lions?
Yeah, Lions.
No, they moved back to get him.
They moved back.
They were 6 and they moved back to 12.
They moved back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not as much of a reach. They didn't give up. They actually gained stuff to get him.
But still, when he was like the 30, when he was still like the 33rd ranked prospect,
we'll
going
get to
12.
the Lions in a second.
We'll get to the Lions in a minute. We'll get there. We'll talk about Dan Campbell. We'll do it. We'll talk about chewing some kneecaps. All right, we'll talk about it.
God,
but running backs are back.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, like, you have to be thrilled when two of them go like that
top
early.
15, yeah.
Top 15, that's amazing. And then on top of that, icing on the cake here was the amount of tight ends that went off the board.
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of tight ends that got picked because of pass blocking over route running.
Interesting.
I think that's something we didn't look at a lot. I think that's why some of those guys fell. Like, initially, like, tight ends did not go in the order that most scouts had them. Like, when you look at mock drafts, the tight ends, there was a couple, like, flip-flops there. And a lot of those tight ends that went higher were because they were good blockers.
No, I think it's the opposite. Dalton Kincaid is not a
Dalton Kincaid
blocker.
Is the exception.
And neither is Sam Laporta. The guy the Lions took, the number 2 tight end. I think it's actually the opposite. I think the pass-catching tight ends, I think Travis Kelce has broken the tight end model.
I get that.
The pass-catching tight end is who's valuable. The ones who went later, Michael Mayer, Darnell Washington.
Darnell Washington went
in the third round.
Went later
he went in
because
the
the knee
round.
injury. The knee injury came out.
I think a lot of people are like, wow,
day.
he can make a couple of crazy bet, but you didn't see it at Georgia. He didn't catch that much at Georgia. Great
but
pass
he did
blocker.
hurdle him, man.
He hurdled one person, and everyone was like, first
rounder.
rounder.
6'6", 300 pounds hurdling a guy.
I mean,
fuck it. First round, baby.
He just didn't have the production.
I love
that
Darnell
is where I'll push back.
Darnell Washington Part of the reasons why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a big winner.
They had a good draft.
They had a phenomenal draft.
Yeah. I really like Joey Porter Jr.
I think they're the third best draft out of everyone behind Houston and Philly. I mean, you get Joey Porter on day 2.
Yeah.
You get an offensive lineman on day 1 to go protect Kenny Pickett. You get one of the best blocking tight ends out of Darnell Washington.
Yep.
In his Instagram bio, 6th lineman. Love it. Fuck yeah. Know your fucking skill set.
Yeah.
6th lineman. Love it. All right.
So let me give you this question because you were talking about Caleb Williams next year. So the only argument I've heard for the Texans not having a fantastic draft is why go all in this year and not enter the Caleb Williams Drake May sweepstakes next year? Why not just take Will Anderson at 2, leave what's their quarterbacks, Davis Mills in there for one more year so that you could potentially get one of those like superstar, could be amazing for 20 years type of guy next year.
And I'll tell you exactly
all
why.
in when you've agreed that this is not a deep draft?
And I'll tell you exactly why.
Please.
Because DeMeco Ryans has that fucking dog in him, all right?
That was the most Pat McAfee answer I've ever heard in my fucking life. He looked at the
draft this year, and he said, hold on. Daniel Jeremiah has us trading up and taking back-to-back picks in the top 3? Hold on, I think I like this idea. I think I fucking like this idea.
I think Daniel Jeremiah had some intel.
I think
he had some inside information.
Daniel Jeremiah literally after the draft goes, I'm kind of surprised that actually happened how it happened. He goes, I haven't talked to any GMs. This is just what I think makes the most sense.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all.
Whether Daniel Jeremiah...
You're telling me the mock guy for the Ringer talks to GMs when Daniel Jeremiah doesn't?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
But here's the thing. Here's the deal. I think DeMeco Ryans looked at the draft class. I think he brought C.J. Stroud in, and he goes, that's a good quarterback.
Yeah. He can't spell his own name, but he's a good quarterback.
Hey, we don't pay him to take tests. We pay him to play
taker.
football.
He's a football player.
All right. And I think DeMeco Ryans said...
You know what the best part of it? There's a Daniel Tosh bit that people were stitching with him saying that on TikTok. And essentially the bit is just like, I love when people say I'm a bad test taker. Oh, you're bad at the part where we ask you what you know? Like,
yeah. My favorite thing about this, though, is like DeMeco Ryans went into this draft and he was like, okay, I love Will Anderson, right? That was like the guy who was like the top of his big board. Then he met C.J. Stroud and he goes, oh, shit, this guy's a little bit better than long neck Davis Mills, you know?
A little better, yeah.
He's a little better, you know? He can play ball, right? And he's like, okay, he might not be a good test taker, but after practicing against Will Anderson every fucking practice, nobody's going to be able to pass a test, all right? They are going to be Tua Tagovailoa.
He's going to be so scared of his left side that he's just going to be running immediately.
Dude, I swear, I think C.J. Stroud, I don't understand the knocks that come on these top quarterbacks every fucking year. They go, the number 1 overall pick's not 6 foot.
Yeah.
So what? C.J. Stroud's not a good test taker. I'm like, have you heard Lamar Jackson speak? Big trust, believe that. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? What the fuck? Unanimous MVP. Who cares what the fuck he said? He said it on the field, all right? I don't know what the fuck big trust means.
Yeah.
I don't. But I know that man can run. That man can pass. That man can get paid, all right?
Yeah.
I don't mind that C.J. Stroud might not be the best at a Scantron, all right? I don't give a fuck, all right? The dude's going to go out there.
Just because you weren't very good at Scantrons?
I was actually surprisingly good at Scantrons, all right? But I can't play shit for football, all right? I am bizarro C.J. Stroud, okay? Me and him are polar opposites.
Alternate dimensions.
I'm very high on those guys. I'm very high on those guys. I think Houston did great. I think there's a solid reason why DeMeco Ryans didn't go all in for Caleb Williams next year. And I think it's because there's a couple guys that already have their hat in the ring. I think the Falcons are definitely gearing up for it. Yeah. I mean, you don't go 3 skills positions and then you're like, oh, but Heineke or fucking Ritter is going to be thrown to him. I'm like, that's not your guy.
No.
You are a quarterback away from having a crazy, scary good offense.
Yeah.
And so I think their hat's in the ring for Caleb Williams next year. And I think the Patriots have to have their hat in the ring. I mean, they can't.
Yeah. I got no idea.
They went all defense. They were like, we're not going to solve our offense this year, which makes me think they're solving it next year.
Well,
you know,
here's the thing with the Patriots, though, is they've never drafted very well at skill positions.
Yeah.
Never. They had Tom Brady, but like, name a wide receiver that they drafted in the last 25 years who was a great talent. Randy Moss they got. Mm-hmm. Edelman was did they draft? I don't even think they drafted Edelman. I think they drafted Amendola, but it was like a 6th round. Like, they never go for those high round skill position guys.
And they don't,
and I feel like
those white guys don't tend to be high draft picks.
The game
wide receiver
changed, but they haven't changed with it, and they're not getting the, like, oh no, you need high level. Every once in a while you get a Stephon Diggs or an Amon-Ra St. Brown, but for the most part they're just not there very often. Or a Tyreek Hill is the best example of a round 4. And so I don't know. I don't know what the Patriots are doing.
Now that we are talking about wide receivers,
I don't feel like they have a plan, is what I'm saying. I think they're trying to do the same thing they were doing. They're trying to win, and they're just going to end up being mediocre.
Yeah.
Because they don't have Tom Brady anymore.
Yeah.
And I hate Tom Brady.
And I think
that hurt me to say.
It hurts you to say that you hate
It
Tom
hurt
Brady?
me to say that Tom Brady should get all the credit for their last 25 years. But after the last couple of years, I'm like, yeah, I think he should, honestly. I mean, the defense, give credit to Bill Belichick, but this is a mediocre team if you don't have the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about wide receivers and how the Patriots did not draft one. And I think the wide receiver story is one that has not been talked about enough in this draft. This draft was very confusing at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Because there was a run on wide receivers, and they did not go in the order that anyone had them going in.
No.
Everyone unanimously, the kid from Ohio was the one obvious.
JSN. Yep.
Yeah. Njigba.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that dude
I had to Google how to say his name because I was like, he's a problem, you know. He's good. You know you're a good athlete when you got a fucking wild name, and I'll learn it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm like when Giannis Antetokounmpo joined the league, I was like, I was like, that's Gianni.
No.
You know, that's Gianni. Whatever. He won an MVP. I was like, Antetokounmpo. I'm shouting that shit from my living room couch, man. And Jigba. It's a fun one to say. I'm not gonna lie to you. So
yeah.
He
was
the
a little
obvious...
afraid to say it for a couple of years. I was like, I had to nail it.
I was like, where? Yeah, you know. And then he was the first one taken, and that made sense.
Yep. Not to the Packers, who everyone thought was going to get him. All right.
Which, yeah.
I really wish that they had drafted a wide receiver just to, like, spite Aaron Rodgers. Like, now that you're gone, we'll take a Jigba.
They still spited Aaron Rodgers.
Well, sure.
If you want to see my notes, I said the biggest loser of this draft.
Well, let's stick with the wide receivers and get into the
let's
biggest
do this
losers.
Packers thing first.
All right.
The biggest loser of this draft, not the Packers. The Packers had a really good draft when you look at it. All right, they had a lot of picks. They had a lot of picks. The biggest loser in this draft is Packer fans. All right, for the last 15 years, you guys have been wanting Aaron Rodgers to get a little bit of help. We finally get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and you go. And you get out there, you draft 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, and a running back.
That is hilarious.
What the fuck? Toonsacoon over here, whatever the fuck that GM in fucking Green Bay is.
I don't know.
I
I think the town just has a vote on who they should draft every year since they don't have an owner.
What
they all just put their ballots in.
No, that is so
Ranked
crazy
choice
to me.
voting.
Aaron Rodgers was like, "Go send me somewhere with an offense," and they were like, "All right, we'll send you somewhere with an offense," and draft an entire offense. They're trying to set up Jordan Love for success, and I love that for Jordan Love. I love that.
There is something to be.
Jesus Christ! If you're a Packers fan, you got to be fucking fuming.
There is something to be
5 years
said,
too late, man.
Because this is a salary cap league. If you have a top quarterback, then you should spend the money in other places, because the best quarterbacks in the world will make it work with worse guys, a la Tom Brady with the Patriots, a la Patrick Mahomes with only Travis Kelce and whatever carnival of first and second year players Patrick Mahomes is playing with.
Yeah.
Theoretically, Rodgers, if he was that good, should have made it work with those guys. However, they could have given him a little more help. You know, a wide receiver on a rookie contract that you picked 25th wouldn't have been the end of the world, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
So I get the philosophy. I think it was poorly executed.
Yeah.
Let's stick on wide receivers.
Wide receivers. So Zay Flowers
Yeah.
comes off the board to Baltimore. And I'm just like...
They love a crafty Hollywood Brown type of guy.
That's the thing, though. Baltimore has been consistent in taking wide receivers lately. Rashad Bateman.
I think this is the 4th year in a row they've taken a wide receiver
I mean,
in the
they've
first
been
round.
going... I mean, they have not been hitting, though.
No.
And I'm like...
Bateman's all right. Hollywood was all right.
Hollywood was okay, but you traded him to Arizona.
Right.
You know?
got a third-round pick
Rashad
for
Bateman
it. Yeah.
didn't even make it really through his rookie year without getting banged up and injured. But the games that he did play, he didn't look like a first-rounder.
No, he looked all right.
And now you go Zay Flowers, and I like Zay Flowers on film, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have faith in the Baltimore front office to pick their favorite receiver anymore. So when you don't go the unanimous second-best receiver as far as the rest of the scouts are concerned, I'm concerned.
Who did you see? Because I saw a bunch of mocks, and I want to get to the mocks
I'll say
later,
who I think the second best.
But
who
did you think the second best?
In my opinion, the second best wide receiver in this draft class is Jordan Addison by a mile.
Oh, interesting. I like Quentin Johnson the best.
Quentin Johnson's good.
Second best.
Still, I would put Quentin Johnson and Jordan Addison both over Zay Flowers. And the fact that Baltimore took Zay Flowers over Jordan Addison is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think that the Vikings are getting extremely lucky with whatever wide receiver falls into their lap.
Yeah, right.
The way they laughed at Philadelphia for taking Jalen Reagor and then Justin Jefferson falls in their lap. And then no video, but I'm pretty sure they laughed when they heard Zay Flowers. I'm pretty sure they probably laughed. They were like, fucking Jordan Addison's our guy. The way Adam Thielen moved on, and now they bring in, I think the Vikings wide receiver room is going to be one that is just consistently fucking good.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs leaves. Then you start off, you got Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. Great.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs goes to Buffalo. You bring in Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
Great. Adam Thielen leaves. You get
Justin
Addison.
Jefferson and Addison.
Dude, I mean, like
Justin Jefferson's going to leave.
And then you'll draft another fucking dog.
Yeah.
And you guys would probably do something with it if you just had a quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Fucking Kirk Cousins. Jesus Christ.
He's so average.
He's so average. And he keeps asking us, you like that? No, we don't, Kirk. We don't fucking like that.
He's from my hometown. I'll let him know.
Is he?
Yeah.
Fucking.
Rival high school, like 40 minutes outside of my hometown.
It's funny because you guys look like you could be related.
You
guys look like you went to the same youth group.
West Michigan's pretty Dutch. We weren't. I wasn't youth grouping, I promise. It goes into what we were saying with that Green Bay philosophy, though. Minnesota has the opposite, where Green Bay's like, nope, we want a high-end quarterback with less help around him. And Minnesota's saying, nope, all you need is a mid-tier quarterback with high-end help around him. Yeah. And I don't know if there's necessarily a correct answer, but the one thing you can point to is all of the previous Super Bowl winners have all been Hall of Famers. I don't think it's unfair to say that Patrick Mahomes is a Hall of Famer. He could quit tomorrow and everybody like, all right, well, he won 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowls, so throw him in there. That's insane. You have to put him in there. And so it's kind of it's my argument against Goff is like, man, those mid-tier quarterbacks with good help around them, they just don't win the Super Bowl very often. Even those teams with Drew Brees, who first ballot Hall of Famer,
the Lions
he only won one.
They just drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, well, do you want to get in the Lions? You got
Let's
another
get into the Lions.
All right. So here's
because you seem to think they had a decent draft, and I'm over here saying they're one of my biggest losers of the draft.
I think so. There's two philosophies to this in my mind, and I think you and I are on. I think I know which one you're in. I'm very torn. I'm putting it as a B
I'm
to
not
B
torn
plus.
at all.
I'm very torn. I know which side you're on. I'm putting it as a B to B plus. So if you want to be on the sunny side of things, because I know that's not where you're at, if you want to be on the sunny side of things, the Lions drafted 4 day one starters. And when you look at a draft and say, what did you get in the draft? What did you get? If you were to point to any draft and say one team, 10 years from now, if you were to look at this draft and say one team had 4 day one starters, you'd be like, that is a good fucking draft. And that's really fucking hard to argue with. The other side of it, which is where you're at, is that the value they got on those 4 guys could have been so much better. They could have gotten Jalen Carter let's assume they still trade back to 12. They could have gotten Christian Gonzalez at 12. They could have gotten Gibbs at 18, and they could have gotten Jack Campbell at 34.
Which Christian Gonzalez at 12
could have traded up for.
Would have made a lot of sense.
A lot of sense.
Jeff Okudah did not pan out. You traded him. All right.
And we have decent CBs right now. I actually really like our backup, Jerry Jacobs.
Christian Gonzalez would have made a lot of fucking sense. But he would have
made a lot of sense. And so
instead
that's where you went running back is the value. So on the one hand, we got 4 day one starters. Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, and Sam Laporta are going to play day number 1. On the other hand, potentially could have had 5 plus Hendon Hooker.
I will say, though, I don't like if we factor in this draft with just like the off-season moves that your team did.
Yeah.
I think your team got significantly worse.
What?
Yes.
No way. All right, hit me with this, because there is no way we are worse.
You guys lost T.J. Hockenson.
No way we are worse.
You guys moved on from T.J. Hockenson.
Okay, well, hold on.
That was last season.
You know what we did after T.J. Hockenson left? We won 8 out of 9. That's what happened after T.J. Hockenson left. Okay, but I don't want to fucking hear about T.J. Hockenson. Sam Laporta. We still have the guys that replace Hockenson.
I think Hawkinson's better than Laporta. I think that'll prove to be true.
Now I agree.
I think
currently
honestly,
today, if we're winning a Super Bowl today, I agree. In 4 years, I don't know.
The way your running backs played last year, if I'm going a first-round running back and it's not, I can't justify a first-round running back, a top 15 running back that's not named Bijan Robinson. I just can't do it.
So
I don't think Amir Gibbs as a whole replaces DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Like, that is a big hole in your offense from last year, because you guys were a running team and you guys ran well.
Yeah.
And he's not replacing one running back. He's replacing 2, because you gave us DeAndre Swift.
We have David Montgomery. He came in instead of Jamal Williams. So we still have the 1-2 punch.
Okay,
I think David Montgomery is better than Jamal Williams. I don't know if he's a better leader. I don't know. He's definitely not more fun on TikTok.
He's definitely
But in terms of a 1-2 punch, and I've been saying this since Dan Campbell showed up, we are remaking the 2015 Saints offense, which is the Alvin Kamara, Marcus Ingram running back duo. You get the burner down the field. That's Jameson Williams. Thank you. Did I say Marcus?
Yeah.
Great. I wasn't that far off.
I think you were confused. I think you were mashing him with like Marquise Colston, you know. I think you were like, because that's also that offense. You
get your Michael Thomas type, that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. You get your burner, that's Jameson Williams, and you get your hyper accurate quarterback, that's Jared Goff. That is what they are trying to do. They are trying to replicate that. Whether it's going to work, that is another question. But that is what they're trying to do. Jahmyr Gibbs is Alvin Kamara. That's his comp. That dude is Alvin Kamara. So in terms of the plan, we're following the plan. Now, if the plan doesn't work, I'm open to saying, yep, that plan didn't fucking work. It didn't work in 15 either.
I just don't like the players you took at the picks that they were taken. I think it was a reach on the running back. Who was your second? Your second pick was linebacker, and that was also a pretty good reach.
It was a reach. Yep. So he's going to start day 1.
But here's the thing. A lot of other guys in the first round start day 1, you know? Like, if your big sell to me is he's going to start day 1, I'm like, so are most first round picks that aren't quarterbacks, you know?
Yep. And everyone agrees the Lions had a very good day, too, getting Hendon Hooker and Brian Branch. People love Brian Branch.
Brian Branch is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's one of the best players to come off the board day, too. Yeah. I'll give you that. But just that first round is so hard for me to look past. In a year where not too many teams fucking drop the ball. And we got to call someone a loser. Because someone's got to be a fucking loser. I don't think
it's us. I think it's the 49ers. I think it's the Patriots. I think it's so here's the Lions are very much, and this is what worries me. The thing that got the Lions in trouble under the Patricia regime was that they drafted too specifically. They drafted guys where they were like, this person fits perfectly into this exact tiny role. And that's where they got fucked, because when things went wrong, they weren't adaptable. We had a middle linebacker who was slow as shit. He couldn't cover anyone. Super easy to expose. I am afraid that this Lions front office is too worried about picking character guys. Dudes that are going to work hard. Dudes that are going to show up every day. They're going to have a good attitude, and not drafting super high skill players like your Christian Gonzalez, like your Jalen Carter.
Well, sometimes it works out for the best.
Worried about.
Sometimes it works out.
Last year,
in my opinion, one of the best character guys was also the best talent when you were on the board. When you guys drafted Aiden Hutchinson, great character,
sometimes
great talent.
Penei Sewell, same thing. Great character.
I think you guys have been very
this
fortunate.
Year, it didn't line up.
It did not line up.
If we could get Will Anderson, he would have been both.
Now we're going to see. Now we're going to see.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yep.
Does character trump talent? And I just don't think it does.
I that's what I'm worried about. This is an experiment in character. This is like, can you win if everyone likes everyone else?
I mean, this ain't Ted Lasso. This is a real fucking sport. We can't just be like, oh, it's all happy. No, fuck that.
I think we are definitely better than last year.
Scumbags win.
I think we're going to be better than last year. The
Terrell
question
Owens is in Canton, Ohio.
Did we put a ceiling on our team at 11 or 12 wins when the ceiling could have been 13 or 14 wins and a couple of playoff things? All right, I got to jump in here. We have 9 minutes left before the camera dies.
9 minutes.
9 minutes. Yeah. That's my bad. I did not reset the SD card because I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off when you showed up. What are we ending on?
I don't know, man. I got to cut like a promo that we can like cut down just for Instagram, right?
Okay.
I got to just go in on like one team or one thing. And I feel like one of the storylines that we have not talked about is Will Levis.
Will Levis. Yeah.
Will Levis. He slipped to the second round. And everyone's like, why'd he slip? Why'd he slip? Why'd he slip? Because quarterbacks went early.
Yeah.
All right? Everybody got their quarterback. And then later in the first round, we have our quarterbacks already. Yeah. That's why we're drafting later in the first round.
That's exactly it.
Why the fuck are we confused why Will Levis fell to the second round? Everybody had their quarterback already.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, they were like, why the fuck is he putting mayonnaise in coffee?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is he eating bananas with the peel on? And how the fuck is such a beautiful woman with a mayonnaise drinking man? What the fuck?
Because she thought he was going to make $20 million
the way
next year.
She's already gone. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I fucking hate Will Levis. I'm wishing every rookie.
You're a Penn State fan too.
Yeah,
you knew him before he went to Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm wishing every single rookie the most success going into the league, except for Will Levis. Fuck you, Will Levis. Dude, what? No, absolutely.
Right, next year on the pod, you guys can have a boxing match.
White people, we do not have culture.
Mayonnaise is our culture.
Mayonnaise is our culture, and he's
doing a great
job.
He's doing a great job.
No, that's bad.
No, he's taking our culture to the limit.
I am a mayonnaise apologist. All right, I think mayonnaise makes every sandwich better.
It's just
it's
oil
so
and
good.
eggs.
It's great.
It's lube
it's
for
delicious.
A sandwich, as I saw on the internet say.
It makes the sandwich go down easier. It is lube for a sandwich.
It's lube for a sandwich.
It's great on every goddamn
Twitter's
sandwich.
Good for something, and
dude,
it's tweets like
but
that.
But here's the thing. Coffee's not a goddamn sandwich, Will Levis.
No, it's not.
Fuck you, Will Levis. Fuck you.
Oh my
Will
God,
Levis, man.
Well, here's the other underrated storyline. There's no white cornerback in the league again.
Yes.
Amazing.
Have you seen the nickname he has already gotten?
No.
The Crackerback?
The Crackerback?
I love it.
Shane Gillis's bit is already out of date.
It's amazing, though.
We're back, baby. The athleticism, you can't hold us down.
He is not.
Unbelievable. He's going to be out of the league.
He's going to get cut before spring training. He's going to get cut.
They just drafted him for the headlines.
They did it for the bit.
Oh, my God. I love it. All right.
No, one last thing, though. I will say. One last thing. The heritage picks, the family picks this year were great.
Yeah.
Joey Porter Jr. getting drafted to the same team as his dad. What a beautiful moment. Dallas Cowboys had a surprisingly wholesome moment for maybe the first time in their franchise's history.
It's the only time I've ever been happy for the Cowboys.
A scout drafted his own son to his team. He goes,
who's good,
He calls up. He
that
calls
dude's
him.
underrated
He
as
calls
shit.
him up. He goes, hey, man, sorry. This is Dad. My phone died. But how would you like to play for us next week? How would you like to come join me at work? And his son's all happy, right? And it's such a beautiful video. And then the scout goes, oh, someone here wants to talk to you. And he hands the phone to Jerry Jones, and the video's ruined immediately. What the fuck, man? God damn it. Jerry Jones, you are the one man that I hate more than Will Levis, man. What the fuck? I hate Jerry Jones so much, dude.
He is a bad
right when
man.
you don't think you can hate Jerry Jones anymore, there are pictures of him trying to segregate schools.
Yeah,
you are like, fuck.
You're like,
you are like, God damn, dude.
Oh.
I'm like, God damn, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones makes it so much easier to be an Eagles fan, though. I will say that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
it's not easy to be an Eagles fan.
Dude,
but,
it is not. It's not easy to be a Philadelphia sports fan. We lost the World Series and the Super Bowl in the same year, man.
All right.
That is brutal.
You want to know who had the worst combined record all through all four sports
here's the
decade?
thing. Here's
this
the thing.
fucking guy.
Here's the thing. You didn't get invited to prom. We got invited, and we saw our hot girl making out with some other dude. All right,
I'd rather
That's way
be
worse.
invited. I'd like to be invited.
You don't
once.
want to see your
I
girlfriend
want to be
making out
invited
with
a couple times.
You don't want to see your girlfriend making out with someone else. You know that's not fun.
Oh,
Either
all
way.
right. Overall, very fun draft. Nobody knew what was going to
draft.
happen.
It was
a lot of fun.
Daniel Jeremiah knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen.
All right.
That dude had pick for
That's
pick.
a good point.
He had 42 out of the top 50
Yeah, it was
going.
pretty good.
I'm like, God
That was
damn,
pretty good.
He's a sorcerer.
Yeah. All right. Until next year,
Hold
Jesse.
on. One final thing. Daniel Jeremiah, do you think he ends up going to a front office somewhere?
No, I don't think he wants to. I've heard Todd McShay talk about it on a podcast.
Because that's the thing. Mike Mayock was one of those top guys.
No, I've
Once
heard,
he became that top guy, some of these billionaires were like, hey, dude,
I've heard Todd McShay talk about it. He's like, look, and obviously this is just for him. I assume Daniel Jeremiah is in the same boat. He's like, my job is 100 times easier than
But
those
Daniel
guys.
Jeremiah used to be a scout for the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles.
So he's got it pretty good.
He's been there.
He's got it pretty good right now. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying that's a lot more
part of
stress.
being a GM is knowing what other GMs are going to do.
It's true.
And this dude fucking knows.
Yeah.
If you know that much, aren't you like, hey, put me in the league? Fucking why not?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Give me a legacy. Put me in Canton. We put executives in Canton now. That's a thing.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes
All right.
guys
All right.
getting a bust.
We'll get media
They're the,
guys. We'll
they're
get
the
media
ugliest
guys
busts in Canton.
We'll get
but-
media guys in Canton pretty soon. Jesse,
the
where can
first-
people find you? It's gonna run out.
Oh, you can find me on social media. I have all of it. At I'm Jesse Townsend, the letter I, the letter M, and then Jesse Townsend, Jesse. No I in Jesse, just like there's no I in team.
There is an I in win though.
There is an I in win. And I'm
you're
surprised
at
you know
Greenwich-
that as a Lions fan.
I got that. Yeah. It's what I crave. You're at Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Come to
Every
Ope.
Friday night, I'm there.
Find me at Corey T Comedy on all social media and come to Ope, a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. If you saw this podcast, want to see Jesse on the show, message me on Instagram, and then we will get him on the show that you're coming to. Jesse, let's do it again. Stay tuned for the fantasy football draft.
Yeah.